Coming to you from an undisclosed location, somewhere deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains, I'm your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Thanks so much for tuning in for yet another episode of Questions with L.A. I apologize, I have been somewhat negligent in upholding my end of the bargain and answering these questions, so we're trying to play catch-up here. Anyway, we'll get into this. First, a word from our very trusted sponsor. Gold has gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere, and prices keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? That's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. You'll get step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it's their commitment. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com today to claim your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. Folks, Peggy and I invested in it several years ago. It has gone through the roof, and I don't think it's going to stop yet. Remember, folks, there's always a risk with any type of financial investment. Take a look at what Noble Gold has to offer. Peggy and I did it several years ago. I'm really glad we did. It's hovering right around 4,000. Who knows where this thing is going to go? So, noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. I'll be speaking 2 times at the Prophecy Watchers Conference. The first time I'll be speaking is on Holy Shroud, Holy Fire. I think you'll find that interesting. There's our film. I want to hats off to my business partner, Gil Zimmerman. The second presentation will be What Lies Beneath the Giza Plateau, Dark Secrets of the Nephilim. And I'll be revealing a theory which I've been talking about and working on for years, and eventually we'll do a film on it, but that's in the future. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. We do a show here every single day. No need to wait for YouTube to tell you. If you're at all interested, then there you go. So please hit the subscription button and become a member. Members get 10% off on everything in the store. They get the monthly news magazine, absolutely free. And of course, members only content, which we do twice a week. So there you go. There you have it. Consider being a member. And we thank you ahead of time for supporting what we do here. Let's get into it. This is from Susan. These are 3 photos taken simultaneously this morning at 5 a.m. while I was retyping to capture the full moon. The green thing appears in each photo, but seems to be manifesting. I've looked at this. What this is a lens flare. So this is how it works. When you take a digital camera and you point it at a light source, whether it's the sun or the moon, if the moon is especially bright, or a street lamp, you're going to get a lens flare. It's this little blue or greenish dot that will show up in your picture. That's not a UFO. It's not. And we get this asked a lot. In fact, Richard Shaw, I believe it's Watchers 10, I'm not sure, but Richard actually talked about that and showed on film in our Watchers series how it worked. This is from Christopher. Thanks, Chris, for writing in. Really appreciate it. Just wanted to know your thoughts on Dr. Stephen Greer and the whole groundbreaking National Press Club event. Well, that's a while back. My thoughts on Dr. Stephen Greer, and we just did a whole series where we deconstructed his letter, statement by statement, from whistleblowers who had encounters. And, I think there's 5 or 6 or 7 installments on that. And we broke it down, and I weighed in on every single encounter that these whistleblowers had. So check that out. It's right here on our YouTube channel. This is what I think. I think CE5 is extremely dangerous. I've already covered the CE1 through 5 and what it means in another show, but I'll do it again here. CE1, Close Encounters of the First Kind. CE1, Close Encounters of the First Kind. You're looking at an object in the sky, a good distance away. It's moving erratically. It can be a disk. It can be a light. But you realize it's not normal. Let me get a slurp here. Close Encounters of the Second Kind. It's obviously a craft. It's within 100 yards or even closer to you. I say 100 yards because that's really close. If it's 50 yards in, that's really close encounters of the second kind. Close encounters of the third kind, you see the entities in the craft right there, right here. The Kumbergaz UFO footage, you can see the entities taken by the late Dr. Roger Lear, given to us, my former business partner, Richard Shaw, who passed away a number of years ago. Thank you, Gil Zimmerman, my new business partner. We have 10 films on the whole UFO phenomena. But I chose this picture with the Kumbergaz UFO because it was groundbreaking footage. The late Dr. Roger Lear was over at a UFO conference in Turkey, and he knew about this. This UFO had appeared, I think, 2 years on the same day, same time, right there over Lake Kumbergaz. So we hired a videographer. They went out, telephoto lens, and the rest is history. We covered it. And in our film, the very first film, Close Encounters of the First Kind, we show that. We sit down and show you that my interaction with Dr. Roger Lear, and then we show clips from the Kumbergaz sighting. Richard Shaw had the original footage. Now, I don't know, I think he gave it back to Roger, but he had the original footage, and he was able to digitize it. And I think Richard's widow probably still has it. So Close Encounters of the First Kind, way out there. You see lights in the sky. It's moving erratically, zipping across right angle turns. Close Encounters of a Second Kind, close up, less than 100 yards. And Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you see the entities in the craft, like I just talked about. Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, they are making contact. Voice to skull. You are making, somehow, you're communicating with these entities. Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind is what Dr. Stephen Greer promulgates. You meditate and you bring these things in. This is nothing more than Eastern mysticism. And I would caution anyone watching this against doing that, opening yourself up to these entities. This is from Samuel. Been hearing rumors that satellites of all nations are being attacked from space. Then within a week, I see this local post to Facebook. Would like to know if you have any info. I don't have any info on that, Sam. It's, if I can call you Sham, but look, the UFO phenomenon is real, burgeoning, and not going away. How about it says here? No, that's another one. That's another mug, someplace in my studio. But you got to understand that things are heating up. This is the coming great deception. I say it constantly because when they show up, it changes everything. If you have a mile-wide craft hovering over New York City, that's a game changer. I want you to go, those of you who are watching, when we're done here, you're on YouTube already. So go over in the search box, right, on YouTube, and hit Super Bowl 2024, hello down there. Super Bowl 2024, hello down there. It'll blow your mind. It's predictive programming. And basically, to cut to the chase, what they're talking about is the revealing of a so-called extraterrestrial presence. And there are mile-wide craft over New York City, over a diner way out in Texas or New Mexico someplace, over in Paris, France, above the Eiffel Tower, and of course in Japan. What they are signaling, and it's a 1 and 30-second ad on the Super Bowl, 2024 Super Bowl, hello down there. What they are signaling is that what's coming is a global event. It's a global event. Watch the faces of the woman in New York City when she looks up and she sees the mile-wide craft directly above her, or the very large craft hovering directly. And there's more than one. These things are flying all over the place. Folks, this is the coming great deception. I talked about this at the last Prophecy Watchers conference. What event changes the global paradigm just like that? Just like that. Instantly. You get mile-wide craft showing up after a nuclear event that happens anywhere on this planet. That's the game changer. That is the game changer. That ushers in the one world religious system and the one world government. I've talked about Rael here, Claude Vorlahorn, who was a race car driver who had an encounter decades ago, and with the so-called Elohim. And I've had his rabbi, who does not believe in God, and I won't disparage him, but he has a different opinion on El Shaddai, God Almighty, than I do. And that's fine. He can believe what he wants to believe. And again, we're not going to disparage Rael or his rabbi or anybody else. We just don't do that here because we're not here to defend themselves. But we have Adam on the show. And what they believe, and there's a clip of Rael, I'm quoting from him now. This isn't allegedly he said this. I have it on film and I've used this to show people. He's saying when a craft lands in Jerusalem, Muhammad and Buddha and Jesus and Krishna will all come walking out of it and wave to the crowd. That's what they're promulgating. I'm not making this stuff up. Is that a possibility? Yeah, but it's not Jesus as we know him. Trust me, it's not. Because Jesus returns with the armies of heaven where? In Jerusalem, not Walla Walla, Michigan. He returns in Jerusalem at the end of the 7-year tribulation. So the Space Brothers, so-called Space Brothers landing here, that might be part of the tribulation, but it's not the second coming. It's not a second coming. He comes on a rider. He comes on a white horse. Behold, the rider on the white horse, who's faithful and true. Okay, let's continue. This is from Rodney. Hey, Mr. Marzulli, my name is Rodney, and I am a believer in Jesus. Believe for you, so am I, sir. And thank God that you have followed the author and finisher of our faith, the one who sacrificed his life to bring all humanity to the Father. Unbelievable. I don't comprehend it. I have followed a lot of your videos and understand you came out of a New Age type of movement and may have a good understanding on the subject I have a question about. I am obviously aware that there are deceiving and familiar spirits aiming to take us off track. One area I have found fascinating is the idea of musical frequencies and their effect on people. I have even read that one of the reasons the Bible instructed not to mingle fabrics was because they carry frequencies that would otherwise be canceled out. Do you think this is a New Age philosophy? Should we stay clear of, or do you think that there is merit to God creating different frequencies for our benefits? I hope you understand where I'm coming from with this question. Rodney, I do. There are frequencies, certain frequencies can have healing properties. I mean, all that is, it's scientific. It's not just speculation. There are certain notes when arranged together that can be very soothing. There are certain notes when arranged together which can create the opposite of effect. So yeah, there's actually a book that I received a while back, and I had not gotten into it, but it talks about healing frequencies, and I actually experienced this with the author of the book, and it was very, very interesting. So let's continue. This is from John. Greetings, LA. Forgive me if you have already received this. I think I may have sent it to the wrong place the first time. The mysteries of Isis and Osiris is said to be a vision of the Cumaean Sibyl written before the time of the Roman Republic. It has been asserted that this is the true inspiration for the book of Revelation. If you read it, you will see there are long passages that are word for word the same. Tom Horton quotes this ancient text in his book, Apollyon Rise in 2012. That would cause one to accept its historical existence. I have tried to contact numerous Christian authors and theologians, including Tom Horn, Gary Wayne, Mike Kaiser, and yourself, and others, but no one has ever responded to my concerns about the original source of the book of Revelation. In my 43 years of study and faith in the Bible, I have never heard any Christian pastor, teacher, prophet, evangelist, or apologist address this subject. If this were to be historically accurate, this radically changes the specifics about the end-time events, like the mark of the beast and a one-world government. It raises the possibility it could be the oldest example of predictive programming designed to cause Christians to surrender without a fight because we believe this is the will of God and a foregone conclusion. Could this explain why the organized church is so complacent and silent in the face of rising tyranny and rapidly collapsing state of affairs we are facing today? They seem content to just let it happen. Just some thoughts that spring to mind. I have tried but unable to find any rebuttal to this information on the internet, including below are links to websites claiming Revelation is a plagiarized version of the mysteries of Isis and Osiris. If you have ever spoken on this topic, well, I have to do a deep dive on that, and I will get back to you on that. I promise. I will reach out to Gary and Mondo, Prophecy Watchers, also Bob Ulrich, and maybe the heirs of Tom Horn, and see if I get to the bottom of that. I've never heard that before, but I will definitely check it out. So you got me stumped on that one. Thanks a lot, John. This is from Lynn Cummings. Greetings. I really appreciate the work you're faithfully undertaking. Far too many believers avoid very important subject matter, and it's wonderful to hear these subjects so eloquently expounded upon from the vantage of the biblical prophetic narrative. My question is about the Nephilim using common materials and some of their construction. We know that they gathered rock and soil from various places and used them in construction, sometimes hundreds of miles away. Is there any indication that combining soil and rock from different locations unlock certain properties? Otherwise, why would they go to such lengths rather than just using what was immediately on hand? Blessings in Yeshua to you, your family, and the work you do through him. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Yes. The bottom line is yes. That's why they're doing it. Why are the bluestones that create this that are used in the construction of Stonehenge, England? Why are they carted 175 miles or 150 miles? How is it done? There are no roads, I mean, just show me how you do this on roller logs, which some people posit. Why? What's the point of doing this? Why are you bringing in the bluestones? There's got to be a reason for it that we don't know yet. I believe, and this has to do with other questions we've had, it has to do with certain frequencies. And that's what I'm going with. That's why they're doing this. That's why they're bringing in the dirt, because in that dirt, there's certain organic material, certain minerals that they're seeking. This is why, in my opinion, it's Nephilim architecture, fallen angel technology. Cahokia, 450,000 tons of earth. Do you realize what that is? 450,000 tons of earth, and yet mainstream archaeologists insist, well, it's there, they must have done it. No, that's a straw man argument. You don't know how it was done. I do not believe that Native Americans built Cahokia. I just don't. I'm stuck with my opinion. I've been there numerous times. How do you move 450,000 tons of earth? Birch bark, baskets, digging tools. In our films, On the Trail of the Nephilim, we actually deconstruct this with our anthropologist on our team, Rick Woodward. So there's a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world. So let's continue. This is from Dale. Ellie, my son and his family just returned from Peru on a 1-month trip to Peru to see if the Lord is leading them to go back as missionaries. My son was a missionary in the jungles of Peru some 10 years ago. Now he and his wife feel that the Lord is leading them back to be part of a church ministry in Cusco. I follow you on Prophecy Watchers and Skywatch and have your book, On the Trail of the Nephilim. My question, since Peru, and particularly Cusco, was the center of Nephilim culture, does that mean that their spirits may be concentrated there? Should I be concerned that they may have spirits of deceased Nephilim opposing them in their ministry? Thank you for your time. Dale, the short answer to that question is, yeah, absolutely. Territorial spirits exist. They do. They can knock you out. They can take you out of commission. You can feel oppressed. I'll just give you an example. When I was in Fatima in Portugal, we were up, I was in Portugal filming on Fatima, and we have 2 films on that. And I was up in the northern end, Porto, and I was hit with what I could only assume was a principality. And it was very, very oppressive, extremely oppressive. And that went on for a period of time that night. And finally, the Lord showed up after a lot of prayer, and he released me from it. He drove the thing away. So, yeah, they're territorial spirits. Remember, a lot of human sacrifice was done not only here in the Americas, but down in Peru. Absolutely done, ritualistic stuff. And those entities and those spirits have never been deposed. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. That's it for today for Questions with LA. I will be back with more questions. I have to start playing catch up. I'm so far behind. Thank you. If you've got a question, just email me at questions@lamarzulli.net. questions@lamarzulli.net. And I will try to get to it. But, as I do 15 or 20 of these things, the list just grows and it never, ever ends. Thanks so much for watching, folks. We'll see you right back here. Remember, YouTube might not send you a notification. We do a new show every single day right here on our YouTube channel. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for your patronage. Thanks for your questions. And thanks for watching.
It is a beautiful day up here in the 49th state, so I thought I'd take advantage of this good weather window before the snow comes and get out here and look for some tracks and tree structures. If you're wondering about my shirt already, yep, I'm an L.A. Marzulli guy. So L.A. Marzulli, in case you don't know who he is an established author, commentator, and filmmaker. And we had him on the show about a year ago, and we got a lot of heat for that show. And the reason we got heat is because there's a lot of people in the Bigfoot research community that absolutely come unglued if you come from a biblical perspective, namely the Nephilim connection theory where it relates to Sasquatch. And they just come unglued about that. And we got heat. But they were really saying more about themselves than they were about us. So we appreciated that L.A. Marzulli took the time to come to our small podcast and talk to us about the alien phenomenon, as well as the Nephilim connection theory where it relates to Sasquatch. So we encourage you to go check out his website at lamarzulli.net. He's got a lot of great stuff over there. And yeah, in case you're not familiar with the Nephilim connection theory, look into it.
The late Russ Dizdar and I created the Nephilim Mounds conferences, and we had people like Gary Stearman there, Chief Joseph Rivler, of course, you know, Fritz Zimmerman. I mean, he's the guy that got me on the trail of a Nephilim, which resulted in 8 films, and number 9 is coming out soon. But guess what? Here's the Nephilim Mounds collection. There are hours and hours of presentations. Gary Stearman, Fritz Zimmerman, Chief Joseph Rivler, yours truly, and others weigh in on the Nephilim. And you know what, folks? You can see right here the Great Serpent now. Yeah, we believe that's Nephilim architecture, fallen angel technology. So for $60, you get all these DVDs here. It's absolutely incredible. There are 11 discs in this set, plus a bonus DVD, Watcher 6, The Secret Cosmic War. This is when we went to Peru. And with our guide, Brian Forrester, we learned and ventured to what we believe is fallen angel technology, Nephilim architecture, and it's pre-flood. Go to lamarzulli.com, lamarzulli.com. What are you waiting for? Avail yourself. There's so much teaching, so much good stuff in this 11-disc set. Plus, you get the bonus DVD. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.